Hi there, I'm Droolbatz, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2015 horror film Man vs. I'm going to discuss briefly the premise of the film, the quality of the film, acting, editing, things like that, and then finally I'm going to compare how it stands out or blends in with other films of the genre, so you can decide if it interests you, or if you're never going to watch it, you can be like, now I know what it's about. Some people don't like horror movies, which is okay, but I do like them. Man vs. is a 2015 film. It's available for streaming on Netflix right now, which is how I saw it. It's like a B film, but it's pretty high production quality. I didn't recognize any of the actors' names though, so not a big production, but it's pretty good. The premise I thought was pretty unique. It's called Man vs., obviously a little bit of a play on Man vs. Wild. The premise is essentially this guy, Doug, and his film crew are professional survivors. Basically, his production team packs him a backpack and then they drop him off in the wilderness for 5 days at a time, and he has to film himself on multiple cameras, just surviving and, talking into the camera, where he's by himself, essentially. Then they edit it in post-production and make a TV show. So Doug goes out with this particular adventure. He's been doing it for a while. They go out and drop him off in the Canadian wilderness with 5 cameras and some random stuff like a camera strap and a chessboard and like a can of soda and a knife or something ridiculous. And as he's filming himself in the wild, he starts to get the feeling that he's being stalked. It's a very brief overview. I thought it was a really good premise, pretty unique. What really helped the film definitely was that the editing and the acting were very good. Soundscaping is a little bit difficult, and a lot of horror movies lately have been falling flat with the quiets being too quiet and the louds being way too loud. So it creates like a really horrible discord. It's very hard on the ears if you're hard of hearing or whatever. The soundscaping was really good in this movie. Very easy to watch with your earbuds in, very easy to watch just on your laptop. The acting was really solid, and the editing was very good. So I would say it was pretty high production value for what it was. Yeah, so how it stood out and kind of compared to other films of the genre. So kind of found footage like talking into the camera, "Hi, I'm Jimmy, this is my camera, this is your tape," type films they're common. They're getting more and more common, especially if you have like a low budget film. This movie kind of stood out because it mixed actual good quality camera versus like the guy filming himself, and it was believable. It was very believable with what he was trying to do. This guy in the woods, filming himself for TV. He was, the only human on camera most of the time, which can be a little bit hard to watch, like watching films where it's like one person alone, like am I going crazy type thing. They feel very much like a one-person play, which I don't like those, but whatever. Not just in horror movies, but there's a lot of movies like that, a lot of plays like that, etc. This movie kind of avoided the pitfalls of like, oh man, Doug is just some dude by himself being weird, because in the beginning they show him interacting a lot with his film crew as they're like setting him up, and it establishes that he has like a wife and daughter, and they mention like, oh, we left you a video on your phone or something, so when he's out in the woods and he's been by himself for a while, he like looks at the video, so it feels like there's another person there. I thought it was a really good, really solid way of kind of mixing the two different, totally alone versus like, oh, I'm not alone, I have other people type thing. I thought that was really good. It just really avoided a lot of common pitfalls that way. Okay, this is going to be a spoiler, so you should leave if you don't want it spoiled. One of the big criticisms that I had with this film was it was very solid, very good up until the end, So Doug has been feeling like somebody's been following him. He's filming himself like setting a trap for a rabbit, for example, and then later on he finds a giant trap set and he almost falls into it, and he's like, something set a giant trap, and like something skinned a wolf after he films himself skinning a rabbit, and he's like, oh my gosh, is someone like stalking me, messing with me, what? And you think maybe it's his film crew, maybe it's this creepy guy he met earlier, maybe it's an animal, because it implies like a supernatural thing at one point. Turns out it's an alien. And it's like a really, really, really crappy CGI alien, really bad. And I don't know, it just totally detracted from the film. Not that it was an alien, but just the CGI just totally was like, oh my gosh. Doug freaks out, almost dies. The alien almost kills him. He like smashes its head with a rock or something, and he like tries to run back to where his film crew is set up, and they've all been like murdered by this alien, and he's like, oh my gosh. He runs back to this different cabin where the creepy dude that like doesn't like him but was his guide or something was living, and he goes in and like the TV's on and it says like there's been an alien invasion, you know, they've hit every major city, you know, get to the wilderness, that's where you'll be safe, which obviously you won't because he was in the wilderness, but anyway, he's like, oh my gosh, my family. So he has to go back and has to fight this alien, and stuff. The alien comes back, he didn't kill it, he just made it mad, and it's like, ugh. The ending was really drawn out. There's a scene where he tries to kill this really crappy CGI alien with a boat propeller, and it's just really drawn out, just overly gratuitous violence for no reason, but it's CGI, so it's like, it's not even realistic. So it's like kind of disgusting, but not fully. It's just really weird and long. I thought the premise of this as well, like, you're in the wilderness, kind of cut off from society, and when you emerge, society has changed, like, a nuke has gone off, or aliens have invaded. I thought that was a great premise, but it wasn't given at all the attention that it deserved, and as a result, I felt it kind of just conflicted with the original premise. I thought it would have been better if it was like a werewolf or something. My weakness is werewolves. Everything should be werewolves. But yeah, the ending, a lot of people in the comments on YouTube, or Netflix, said, you know, oh man, it felt really unfinished. I agree. I personally don't mind horror movies that don't have a solid conclusion, because I don't mind that personally, but a lot of people did not like that element. I really just, the CGI just totally detracted, and I'm not even a huge hater on CGI generally. It's a B film, you can't expect good graphics all the time, but it just they didn't mesh well. I thought the movie had two great ideas, you know, the first one and then the alien one, but they just didn't mesh well in my opinion. I still think it's a pretty good movie, definitely worth watching. The quality of the film was really excellent, the editing was great, and it's pretty clear that a majority of the film got the attention and care that it deserved in the cutting room that it needed. Overall, I don't know, maybe like 4 out of 5, pretty good. Okay.